How's it going, everyone? In this lesson, we'll be dissecting another walking bass line by the great Ray Brown. This tune is Sea Jam Blues, and it comes from the Oscar Peterson Trio album, Night Train, released in 1963. This song was forbidden for assessment purposes when I was in music school. I believe the conversation went a little something like this. You need to learn 10 tunes, man. You can play a blues if you want. Okay, does it matter what blues I play? Nah, man, but don't play Sea Jam Blues. It's on the list, but the melody is only 2 notes, so play something harder. No worries. Before we get into the walking lines themselves, we need to make friends with a couple of important musical scales. The first one is the C major scale, which has these notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. What I recommend is practicing this up at least 2 octaves of the neck. So one possible way to do that would be like this. Also, it's important to make sure that you get notes that are underneath this low root note as well. As in B, A, G, F, and E, those notes down here, they are used all the time in walking bass lines in the key of C, and also in other keys, so it's important to practice them. And the second musical scale that you will need to know is the C Mixolydian scale, which is exactly the same as the C major scale, except we change the note B natural to B flat. And that's all that there is to it. So let's play that one in 2 octaves as well. Make sure to get the notes below this root note as well. We'll be looking at the opening intro section, which is played unaccompanied by Ray Brown, and also looking at the first 2 walking bass choruses, which he plays behind the melody. So let me play the intro first, and then we'll get into the analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what's happening here? In the start, Ray Brown is playing this perfect 5th interval. Open G string for an 8th note beat, and then the root note C on beat 1. I'm playing this by playing the G, the open G string, with my 2nd finger of my right hand, and then playing the C with the 1st finger of my right hand. And the real important thing to take home from this is you've got to sort of change the way that you're holding your left hand so that we keep this open G string ringing. So I'm trying to keep my fingers off of the neck as much as possible so that I can make that happen. From there, right into a walk up, and ascending the key of C major. And from here we're going to play scale tone thirds, which is where we play the root note, and then we jump up a third to E, and back a step to D. And then that same pattern just keeps going. Up a third, back a step, up a third, back a step. And then F sharp as a passing note, and then we get to the fifth, the high G. From here, we'll be doing a walk down, which is the same concept as a walk up, but we're descending the neck. So we'll play G, F, E, and then put in this passing note E flat. D, C, B, and then a little bit of a rhythmic pattern. Same walk down, but down the octave. And that's the intro. So let's go on to the first walking bass chorus over the actual blues form now. And I'll play that for you now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breaking down this walking line now, we have the exact same walk up that we had in the intro. And the second bar is the same as well. From here, we're going to go down a C major triad, and walk up to the fifth, then a C major triad again. Then we get to the 4 chord. This next line is one that Ray Brown plays quite often in this walk line, and actually quite often in lots of blues forms. So he plays the root, and then he's going to drop down to the 3rd, up to the 6th, and down to the 5th. And then open A, the 3rd, walk down to the root. 3, 2, 1 on F7. And then a leading note or a passing note into the 5th of C7. This is very, very common when we walk the jazz blues. Very often, it's basically become the way that we walk the jazz blues now. When we get back to the 1 chord in the second line, we like to put the 5th, this G natural, in the bass rather than go to the root. It's not saying you can't go to the root, but it's just such a common sound now that pretty much every good jazz bass player likes to put the 5th in the bass on this chord. And then we'll play G, so 5, D, 2, and then we get back to the root. 5th, and then root, flat 5th, and then an octave drop to get us to the 2 chord. I'll just play those 2 bars again, but at speed. Now this part where he plays the open A string and the open D string is important because it gives him time to shift his hand up the neck so he can play the next phrase, which goes way up to the high area of the bass. So we'll take it from that same spot again. Shift, and then I'm in the right position to play root, 5th, octave of D minor, 2, and then when we get to the G7 chord, notice he's actually playing F on beat 1. This is the flat 7 or the dominant 7 on G7. So what this is doing, F, F sharp, and G are the next notes. He's playing what's called a delayed resolution to the 1. So he's playing F on beat 1, F sharp on beat 2, and then finally gets to the root on beat 3. I think he's playing the G as a harmonic, so he can shift again up into what for him would have been thumb position, because he's playing on the upright bass. I'm just playing it on the fretless for this lesson, and then playing a B natural, C. So let's go back and look at that again. D, the root, 5th octave. And then we're going to shift. And on beat 1, F, F sharp, G, shift, A. And then when we get to B natural, we're actually playing that on beat 1 of the C7 chord. B natural is not in the C7 chord. C7 has a B flat note in it. So you might wonder, why exactly is he playing B natural on a C7 chord? One thing I can say is during the melody here, not many chords are actually being played in the left hand of Oscar Peterson, so he can probably play this and make it work. But the next thing I'll say is that it actually doesn't really matter. If you play a B natural when the chord says you're meant to play B flat, it might add a little bit of tension, but tension is good in jazz. So he's playing this B natural on beat 1 on a C7. From a theoretical point of view, it doesn't work, but who cares? It sounds cool. He's going to play B natural and C. He's just playing this as if he's playing in the key of C. Shift back down, G natural as a harmonic. Just straight down C major scale. Nothing crazy here. And finally, we come to the last walking chorus for today. So let me play this first and then we'll break it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're starting off once again with another walk-up. It's the exact same walk-up, but notice the C now, which was down here in the first two choruses, well, in the intro and in the first chorus, is now up the octave, 5th fret on the G string. The other notes are exactly the same. So now he plays B flat this time. We're going back to a C7 sound, a C Mixolydian sound with this B flat note in there. Pretty interesting how he plays over C7 over the 1 chord in these 2 bars. We're starting with the 5th, going up to the next note in the chord, and then we jump 2 notes down in the chord to E. Go up 1 chord, jump 2 notes down to C, go up 1 note. So we get this pattern over the C7 chord, and you can actually extend that out further if you want. To make the pattern longer, I'm just playing up 2 notes in the arpeggio and then going down 2 notes in the chord and playing up 2. F7, E natural, again the same walk up again, but now up to the 5th on C7. Okay, and the last line we're going to play yet another walk up on the 2-5. Up to the high register of the bass, massive drop down to the open D string, open G, and yet another walk up, the exact same one. And this last bar is a walking bass line that Ray Brown's known for, particularly after playing this walk up. He does this so often. He gets to the 5th on C7 on the 1 chord, and then goes to the 6, and then does a 2-5-1. So this is a series of perfect fourths, one after the other. Once he gets to A, he goes down a 5th, which is the same as going up a 4th, and then goes up a 4th, and the next chorus goes down a 5th for the next walking line. That's all for now. Thanks for checking out the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to download the full bass transcription, you can head on over to my Patreon page. It's available there for both free and paid members. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next lesson. Take care.